So it looks like in the beauty world, there is a controversy about the should we boycott the African braiding salons. And I guess they have been getting a lot of smack because I watched an incident which was so bad. It really was, y'all. It was about the young lady had been waiting. She had been waiting in line to get her hair done. She's been going for 9 years. She goes in, and I guess she's upset they started someone else's hair. The customer service was awful. And the next thing I know, I see the lady saying what in the customer's face, saying, calling her a little girl and getting loud and very aggressive. And I was like, and this is the question for me, and I'm going to say this, and I'm going to go into a little bit about this, is I know you're asking the question, should we or should we not boycott the braiding, the Africans in the braiding hair salons because of the way that the treatments are, the hair and all these different things. But why are we making that the issue? It's really, really weird to me because I'm like, well, why they pick the Africans? You know what I mean? And then you got one set of people that are like, well, don't boycott them. They always separating us, and they don't look at us as African and all these different. It's so many different things. But let's just take all that off the table. Let's talk about we're gonna boycott. Why don't you guys let me slow it down because I wrote down a list of things. Let me put my glasses on because I wrote down a list of things of why I'm like, why y'all want to boycott that? Y'all don't want to boycott all of the unprofessional hair salons and unprofessional hairstylists? Y'all want to just hone in on just the Africans? And listen, I'm not saying that you're not right for even considering it, because I have seen that. And so we're going to go into it a little bit about it, because that thing had me hype. I was like, well, shoot. What's different from what they doing from what you're doing, what we are doing, what Black Americans are doing? What is the difference? So one of the things I do want to point out to you guys before I even get into that is the fact that Black women in the U.S., we are like, when it comes to the beauty world, which is a $1 billion industry, it's probably even bigger than that by now because I haven't even looked at the stats. We are the number one spenders. You guys don't even realize that. We support businesses like no other. We support, okay? And when it comes to the beauty industry, we're supporting, one, because we have a need. We love beauty, of course. We want to look fabulous, right? But at the same time, we support because it's a need. It's an addiction a lot. And it's not just Black women. That's all women. It's an addiction. You want to look your best. You want to stand out for the most part, And so, but I want to go back to when it comes to Black women, talking about supporters. And I remember recently, there was a singer, I think it was Mooney Long. I think she got one song that was a nice song or whatever, and she offended the Black community, and she was saying how, I think she was saying something to I won't say she offended the Black community, but she made the statement of the Asian community supports her, and of course the Black women did not appreciate it, and they told her, I saw in the comments they were telling her, you might want to retract that because we support you. And I was like, how can you guys see that, but when it comes to the beauty world, you don't see how much of an impact you make, not just on the African and the braids, just in general, when it comes to product, when it comes to hair, especially in the industry of wigs, weaves, and everything else, right? So we got that understanding. The thing is that, and I'm speaking to my sisters, right? For me, is that when I look at the beauty industry as a whole, I see when it comes to us, even when I go to the beauty hair shows, right? We have the Braiders Brothers, all these shows. I come in and we see all other race of people, and they're marketing and they're doing their thing. When I want to get my products, like my Black products, I have to walk all the way to the back. I stopped going. I have to walk all the way to the back, and we in the corner somewhere. And it always bothered me because I said, well, how come we all the way in the back in this one little area, but we are the most, they're marketing to us, right? As a people. And we don't get that, right? So a lot of times I think that when it comes to Black women, when it comes to business, we come into like a salon, right? And this is business. It's not personal. You come into the salon. I think a lot of times the things that are happening in our homes, it comes out when we come out in the public, in the world. You understand what I'm saying? So, and the reason why I'm saying this is because a lot of us, I don't want to say us because I don't put up with it. A lot of you put up with behaviors, unprofessional behaviors, aggressiveness, disrespect. They treat you like they're doing you a favor. I'm talking about I'm talking about hair salons. I'm talking about hairstylists, if you're in a salon or not. They treat the Black woman when she comes in there as if she's not the best thing since sliced bread when it comes to supporting the businesses. And the reason why I say that is that you drive. I always say this to my customers. They have driven let's say I'm in Broward. I'm in Miami, Florida, and I'm in Broward. You know how many salons you pass by just to come to me because it was something about me that you liked? But today's hairstylists in 2025, they don't think like that. They know they got a product or they got a skill that you love, and you're willing to take the garbage from them. Now I'm talking about the clients. So I feel like that must be how you are at home. Like maybe the children or your spouse or your significant other talk to you crazy, don't respect your time, don't appreciate you going out of your way, right? And so that transfers over. Now you're going to get your hair done, a place where you're supposed to be relaxed and you're supposed to be pampered. You're coming in there as if you're coming to see a celeb. And even if she is a celebrity hairstylist, we got Dawn Ferguson, one of the baddest celebrity hairstylists and makeup artists, that comes on Salon Talk every Sunday at 7 p.m. But she's humble, right? And yeah, she's old school, right? But at the end of the day, in 2025, I am blown away that you guys are talking about the African. I said the African braiding salon. Is this what piqued you? Finally, this is what piqued your nerves, and you were like, "Oh no, we're not standing for it." But for years after years after years, you go into these salons. What one lady then left the client under the dryer and unlocked up. The lady had to call and say, "Can you please open the salon?" You got stylists that charge you for deposits, that overcharge you for their services. You got stylists that don't have skill sets. They only know how to braid, or they only know how to just add weave in. They don't know how to wash. They don't want to wash if they do know how to wash. You got all these things going on. But today, in 2025, in the month, I don't know if this happened in June, because it looked like it was like a few weeks ago. So I think it happened in June. We want to boycott just the African braiding salon? Please. Listen, y'all want to boycott? Boycott and stop patronizing places that disrespect you. I'm talking about the beauty world. If you go into the salon and your hairstylist is late, what you paying her for? If you go into the salon and your hairstylist don't respect your time, and she got you waiting and she got 10 clients or whatever, and she don't respect your time, why are you giving her your money? Why are you taking the disrespect? Why? This is the thing that bothers me. So I think I touched on some of the things that I want to touch on, but I want to just bring out a little bit more when it comes to it. Another thing, when it comes to business owners, right? Why do business owners, and I'm talking about the beauty world, but we got it in just period. Now I can go to Liberty City, I can go to Carroll City, they call it Miami Gardens. I can go to different areas, even in Broward County, where you guys can give the worst service. And it doesn't matter if they're from the islands, because I'm seeing like, they like, oh, if they Jamaicans, if they did. No, I'm talking about across the board. We got it. Especially down here in Miami. Customer service is, because we know the food going to be good, so you're going to have to deal with a little attitude. But hey, I ate good, right? I'm just curious on, well, it's turned on. My AC just turned on. I get my AC light, honey, it's hot. I'm just curious at the fact of why do business owners think that because they're black that people have to deal with the disrespect, that people have to give them their money. The mindset is like you owe them something. And I have never seen this in any other, I'm saying, especially in my industry, that this has not, you know what I'm saying, been an idea. Like, you are doing the customer a favor. This customer is paying you their money, but you are coming in as if you're the celebrity. Now, in my salon, when I had my salon, the customer was the celebrity. I was grateful that they came into my salon and they patronized me week after week. Some of them days, right? They came to me. They trusted me. They loved the fact they pushed me to get better skill sets, continuing education. All right? So I just don't understand why we're just going after the African braiding salon, which it was ridiculous. But for the hairstylists, you're not doing them a favor. Why do you think because you're black that we should be, that we should be giving you our money? We got to deal with your personal attitude, your horrible attitude, your personal problems. You coming in, or maybe you had this at home, and we got to deal with, you had a fight with TT and Tay them, and now we got to hear it on the phone. We got to deal with the unprofessionalism, right? So why do we feel, hold on, y'all, I got to turn this down. Why do we feel that we have to do that? And I'm pointing this out, and y'all may not like it. I'm the Black Tabitha. Y'all remember Tabitha? She used to go in those salons and be like, this is terrible. So I want to ask that. Why do you put up with the worst customer service? They don't even acknowledge you when you walk in the door. I have been in places where I've seen the customer comes in, they all happy and they excited, they getting their hair done, and it's early morning and you got an attitude because you had to come in early as a business owner. Even if you don't own the salon, when you're collecting money from a client, you're a business owner. All right. A lot of us in this industry should not be in this industry because we don't have the business sense. We don't have people skills. I'm telling you, it's a lot of people don't have business people skills. I have seen where I have had friends that was doing hair and the customer say, you know what, can you cut this a little bit, or it didn't really come out how I like, and you take it personal. Now you want to talk about the personal business that the customer done share with you, or the customer done lost her hair. Now when the customer leave, you want to ride out on the customer, right? How unprofessional is that? But my point is, the customer may deal with your aggressiveness. Oh, well, what's the problem? Well, what happened? Attitude. Why? You think that's just in the African salons? The African braiding salons? No, ma'am. You think this just started 2025? No, ma'am. That's why our industry, I'm talking to the stylists now, that's why our industry has gone to kaput when it comes to the black community, because no one respects us. They don't respect us. You may not like what I'm saying, but I'm giving it to you raw today. They do not respect you. You know why? Because you don't respect yourself. You get up, you got the bonnet on your head, you got slides on your feet, you're unprofessional, you're giving a quoting a price for this price, the next day it's another price because you need your light paid. It's unprofessional. Some of you, and I had mentioned this and Dawn on Salon Talk, where the customer is getting her hair done and you turn to her and say, let me get $20 out of what you owe me, what you gonna pay today, so you can get lunch. Y'all want to talk to the African people? The African braiding people? Come on. We got to do better than that. We got to do better than that. I'm almost done, y'all. I'm almost done. But I you know how I am. I may have to do a part 2 with this one. Okay. It isn't, so well, let me make sure I'm where I'm at. Let me make sure I'm in it. Okay. It is imperative that when we go into a salon, right, You go into a salon. If your stylist can't clean herself, her hair can't be clean, she looks bad or whatever, and you still paying her, shame on you. Don't blame the stylist. Shame on you. And last but definitely not the least, y'all can't just pinpoint, y'all can't just say this group of people that because they from Africa. And yeah, there is barriers, right? There's communication barriers because they are from another island, right? They're an island, they're a continent, right? I get that. But being born and raised in Miami, Florida, Jackson Memorial Hospital, baby. Being here and being raised here, my community, I always tell you guys, it was very diverse. We had, my first best friend was Caucasian. My neighbors were Dominican. The other neighbors were Cuban. I had Puerto Rican friends, you name it. Friends from Chile. I had friends from Guatemala, everything, right? But because we started so young, as we grew up, it was the norm. But there are parts of Miami that is just Black Americans. So when they come across somebody from the island, it's like we separate ourselves, and it is a divide, which I don't understand. I can tell you, just for instance, my mother, which a lot of you know, she was her family was from Andros Island and Cat Island of the Bahamas. But she was married to my stepdad, who they was from Georgia. But his family did not like her just for the simple fact that she was from the islands. I'm like, well, what would you do? Now, she had other issues now. I ain't gonna say that. But what I'm pointing out is that the simple fact, and I have had friends as I gotten older, and they were like, oh, you hang with them because your family from the Bahamas. Or I'm like, I don't know nothing about no Bahamas. I can go over there right now. I don't know anything about them. But let me tell you what I do know. If you're good people, you're good people. So the whole thing about boycotting the African braiding community, that I'm not saying, because I looked at the video and I first of all, I looked at their products. I looked at their products that they doing. The hair weave looks bad. I look at the service that you guys are nothing but numbers when it comes to the braiding. So don't think that I'm trying to say, oh, don't divide it, whatever the case may be. I think across the board, the beauty community is suffering. I think that people have lost respect. I think that we have lost professionalism. From what I seen back in the days, in the 70s and the 80s, when you went to the salon, we didn't, in the 90s and even the early 2000s. But today, all y'all are there for is to collect some money. And there's nothing wrong with that. But you will continue to have a high turnover volume because you refuse to get the people skills that you need. You refuse to get the training that you need. You want to hone in, and the worst thing you do, you only have one particular skill set. You don't want to learn anything else because it's easier and I can get quick money. But when you get the quick money, grow. So you can be a staple in your community that they can say, oh, honey, like we remember Jackie had at times in Miami, Florida. They were a staple to the community. The women, no matter what they had going on behind closed door, we looked up to them. So this whole thing about separate the African and we're going to boycott the African salons, all I say to you is if you're going to boycott unprofessional, unlicensed, nasty, unclean, filthy hairstylists, boycott them across the board. Whether they from Guadalupe, wait, was it Guadalupe? No, I'm saying Guadalupe. Y'all excuse me. Whether they from Mexico or whether they from god doggone Africa. Boycott. Stop spending your money in these stores. Stop going to places where they are willingly disrespecting you. And then you got to get up on a live, or you got to go on social media to talk about how bad the services is, but you handed her your money. And it didn't happen at the end. They was disrespecting you from the time you got through the door. But you know what we say? It's okay. So that's why I say maybe something be going on at home that you guys are okay with people just disrespecting you. But if I come in a salon, and I have done it as a customer, I come in a salon and the lady don't acknowledge me, my hairstylist don't acknowledge me, or she don't speak to me or whatever when I enter the room, that's already a problem for me. I'm like, I will either say something, that's strike 2. Ain't no strike 1, strike 2. And if I sit there and she got 10 people ahead of me, honey, strike 3, I ain't coming back. But you guys, because and then your hair bad anyway. So you went through all of the disrespect and all this stuff just to come up and realize after the hairdo is over, you're losing your hair. Come on, y'all. Let's get with this thing. Let's get it together. I had to come on here. I will see you guys next video. I pray that you like and subscribe. If you had bad services, talk about that. And don't just pinpoint the African Braided Salon, because we've been disrespectful and we've been giving bad services way before these people even decided to start popping up these braiding salons. You got I done went to Kiki and Day them house when I was younger, and they had poor customer service. They was in there fighting, all kind of stuff. So if we gonna boycott again, boycott across the board. Don't just pick a certain kind of people, certain special people, and say we boycotting them. No. Boycott from the U.S. all the way to Africa. All right. I pray this video helps you. I will see you guys next video. Love you. Bye.